Okay. Okay, today we're going to start Mem Chesam at Beis 48b. Afterwards, Lema Ketanai, which is about 8 lines from the bottom. Okay. Thank Hashem that they would learn Torah every day. It's of our learning, we should have the Beis Hamikdash. We're learning in the Liulei Nishmas. Zahava Golda Bas Baruch Binyamin. Also, Natanos have been seeing. And whoever needs to refer Shlema. Okay. Gemara says like this: Lema Ketanai. We had a machlokes here between Rav and Rabbi Yochanan. And that was regarding if someone gives a down payment, if the down payment acquires only the amount, the value of the down payment, or if the down payment acquires everything. Rav says only corresponding to the amount, and Rabbi Yochanan says it acquires everything. So let us say that this is an earlier machlokes as well. It's a machlokes tanaim. Hamalvas chaver ala mashkan. Someone lends his friend money, and he uses a collateral along with it. The rule is that when Shemitah comes, the loan is absolved. So the exception to that is if he gives it over to Besdin or something, or like another exception is that if there's a collateral, because if there's a collateral there, it's as if he's collected the loan already because he has that mashka. Now, v'nichnasa Shemitah enters. It's interesting because there's a machlokes about if Shemitah absolves. Thank you. Shemitah absolves if it's the beginning of the Shemitah or the end of the Shemitah. So the way of learning this, if you hold it's the beginning of Shemitah, then Shemitah absolves means that when the year of Shemitah comes in, so then it absolves it. And if you hold that it's the end of Shemitah, so what does it mean? Nichnas Shemitah. Shemitah means the new Shemitah. Shemitah means the cycle. Nichnas Shemitah, the new Shemitah entered. So I mean the seventh ended. Anyway, whatever way you want to read it. The rule over here is even though the mashkin itself, the collateral, was only worth half of the loan. Let's say the loan was $1,000. This was $500. It does not absolve. Shemitah does not absolve the loan. The loan still exists. That is the Reb Shimon ben Gamliel. Sounds like Reb Shimon ben Gamliel is saying, we don't know exactly if it means the loan exists. If the 500 of the loan still exists, then he can collect. He can collect from the mashkin the 500, or if it means the whole loan exists. It's a little bit unclear. Rabbi Yehuda Hanasi Omer. Yehuda Hanasi is his son, Reb Shimon ben Gamliel's son. He says, "Ima yamashkin keneged al basei." Yeah, possibly his great grandfather, depending on which Reb Shimon ben Gamliel is.
Doesn't go into a shala.
I think we do that all the time. You can't correct the father, but you're allowed to have a different opinion. If you have to correct the father, you have to say, "Didn't we learn?" In a
for Hesia, you can't contradict. 3,000 years, we're still talking about it.
Yeah, it's slightly before Hesia. You're right. Rabbi Yehuda Nasi says, if the mashkin is corresponding to the loan, then ain't a meshamet, then the loan is still intact and you can collect. We're talking about Shemitah that absolves the loan. But over here, because there's a collateral, so the loan is still is considered like he's collected it already. So the Shemitah doesn't absolve it. The problem over here is that this collateral is not the same value as the original loan. The collateral is only half the value. So does it absolve the loan? Does it not absolve the whole loan? It does not absolve only half the loan. So Rabbi Yehuda Hanasi says, if the mashkin was corresponding to the entire loan, let's say it would be 1,000 for 1,000, then in a mashamet, then the loan would still be intact and he could collect it. But if it's not worth the full loan, then mashamet, then the loan gets absolved because of Shemitah. The Gemara goes back to say, what was Reb Shimon ben Gamliel talking about when he says that the loan is not absolved? You can still collect it. He make a difference how much. He said even if it's not the full loan, even if it's half the loan, it still is not absolved. So what does that mean? Maybe it means that you can still collect $500 worth of the loan because you had a collateral the whole time for $500. It means the loan was collected, and the $500 of the loan was collected. But that would imply that according to Rabbi Yehuda Nasi, that says that if it's not the full amount of the loan, we're about to go to the top line. According to Rabbi Yehuda Nasi, that says that it needs to be the full amount of the loan in order to not absolve the loan. You can still collect it, but over here because it's only partial, so then it does get absolved. So what does it mean it gets absolved? You want it to absolve even the 500, the 50% of the loan. You want it to absolve. You want the entire loan to be absolved because your mashkin wasn't the 100% of the loan. So why did he take a mashkin if it doesn't work at all? Mashkin doesn't work at all. The whole loan is absolved. It could have been according to 75% of the loan. It could have been 99%. If it doesn't work, if it's not the full percent, so what good is it? Allah Shmarmina must be what does it mean that Reb Shimon ben Gamliel says that the loan is not absolved, which means his loan is still intact, even though the mashkin was only partial? According to Reb Shimon ben Gamliel, the entire loan is still intact, even though the mashkin was only part of it. My Meshamet to come Rabbi Danasi. What did Rabbi Danasi mean when he says the loan is absolved because Shemitah entered? It's talking about the other half, not the part that the mashkin is the value. The part that the mashkin is not the value.
So basically, one is saying is that regardless,
right?
Because the other one says it covers part of it,
right? Which would mean that the machlekes would be exactly the machlekes that we had before between Rav and Rabbi Yochanan regarding if someone makes a down payment, the down payment acquires the entire item, or if it only acquires the amount equivalent to that value. Rav said only that amount, and Rabbi Yochanan said acquires the entire thing. Now, what comes out over here is that the Reb Shimon ben Gamliel holds keneged kula yukaina, that corresponding to the entire thing it acquires, which means, which is Rabbi Yochanan's opinion, which means that over here a mashkin on half the loan really affects the whole loan, and now the whole loan is not absolved when Shemitah comes. Rabbi Danasi holds keneged hukaina, that it only corresponds to, it only acquires corresponding to that, to its value. Okay, so we have a machlekes tanaim. We have machlekes tanaim for the machlekes of Rav and Rabbi Yochanan, which usually the Gemara doesn't like, because why didn't Rav mention that he's following a specific opinion, and why didn't Rabbi Yochanan? Why did they make it look like it's a brand new discussion? So the Gemara answer is light. That's not the machlekes. Mayin and Meshamet. What does it mean that the loan isn't absolved to come Reb Shimon ben Gamliel when Reb Shimon ben Gamliel says this? In other words, you got the machlekes wrong. It's not the way that you were understanding. It's talking about lahach palga denakad mashkin. It's only from 50%. Even according to Reb Shimon ben Gamliel, you only have 50% of the loan intact, because the other half of the loan Shemitah absolved. Michlal, but that would imply that Rabbi Danasi Savar, that Rabbi Danasi holds that the loan is entirely absolved, even the part that you have the mashkin. Back to the original question, mashkin denakad lamalet. So then, what use is the mashkin according to Rabbi Danasi?
They say that the whole thing is canceled, even the collateral collateral goes back.
Yeah, the loan is absolved. So what point? What's the purpose of the collateral? So the Gemara answers the Zichron Dvar and Balma. It's not to stop the Shemitah from absolving the loan, according to Rabbi Danasi. He gave it just to encourage repayment. So he took it to encourage the person to repay, because he probably wants his item back. He's going to want to repay. So it's like holding someone's license until he returns. It's not the value of it that you're collecting from or something like that. It's just encouraging repayment.
Person knows about this. Does it encourage him?
Yeah, well,
we learned here
no,
these people scholars.
No, we do this. Shemitah comes in and absolves the loan. Shemitah comes in and absolves the loan. Person doesn't want the loan to be absolved, so he says, "Let me hold your license. I want you to pay me back before Shemitah." Anyway, it happens to be it didn't help, so the loan got absolved.
With a down payment,
Yeah, we were making a comparison here between a collateral and a down payment. That was the comparison. And we were saying that, well, how does the down payment work? Does it acquire everything, or does it only acquire corresponding to its value? So now we were now saying, okay, so now let's take that and compare the collateral to the down payment and say collateral, does that cover the whole loan? And it's as if the whole loan was paid back, or is you're able to collect the whole loan, and even after Shemitah comes in, or do we say that it was only corresponding to that amount? And we said, no, that's not the machlokes. That actually no one holds that it covers the whole thing. Everyone holds that it only covers half. The limit is half, and then Rabbi Danasi holds doesn't even cover that.
Today it's the opposite. The collaterals are like more than the value of the loan.
Right.
So definitely they're encouraged to pay though.
Right.
The same thing happens with down payment. The banks then that's in the value. Right. So it's always a problem.
Right. That's when it comes to mortgages. When it comes to other types of loans, where they give you these high interest loans, these things, they don't have the collateral that's really covering that. They just make you crazy.
They always have the ones that they might not have so much like paycheck stuff, but I'm sure that they do enough for.
No, they do. What's it called? Don't they do these high interest loans?
But that's kind of like based on
And
the job.
they don't have your house as a collateral. They give it to these people, and then the people fall into debt, and they.
The example of the credit card is based on the signature.
Right.
Like that's like the collateral, but that's why they charge 30%.
Right.
They make that.
What is this? What's this business now? This business. A lot of people are doing this. They lend.
They lend based on what the person's going to make.
Yeah, out of your own credit card.
400%.
They take from the credit card.
There's this business where people are lending money now. It's a lot of young kids are involved in this.
It's based on they don't.
What's it called? Is it
Cash advance.
cash advance? Cash
Yeah.
advance.
But that's based on the job the person has.
Oh, okay.
Oh, you're gonna collect 1,500 next week. I'll give you 750 today. But you have to pay me like 300%.
They basically tell the guy, we'll worry about all those issues later.
And we have some big guys to run out.
Yeah.
That's very illegal. Money laundering.
Okay, story goes like this. Rav Kana, we're on 49A. Rav Kana Yavale Zuzi Akisna. Rav Kana, they gave him money for flax. Flax means that could be used for linen. The value of the flax went up. Now Rav Kana had received the money already, but it's at a lower rate than he could get if he would sell it right now. But he was already paid. So also Kami de Rav, he comes to Rav, Amalei, b'mayin the Nikita Zuzei Havru. Rav follows his opinion and he says, they only gave him a down payment. They didn't give him all the money. He said, only honor the down payment, the value of the down payment, and give them flats at that rate. The rest of what the business deal was going to have in it, that was just words. That's just words. That's not considered bad faith. Lacking trust. If you retract from that, from the extra, basically you only have to honor the down payment's value, according to Rav. Ditzmar, we have a statement. Barim, when it comes to just words like verbal agreements, Rav says that's not considered bad faith if someone reneges on that. Rabbi Yochanan says no, that is considered bad faith to keep his word. Meisvei, where's the question? Rabbi Yisrael says, what's the meaning of the verse? Hin tzedek. It says a hin is a measurement, which is the size of 12 lug. Type measurement. Why does it have to say hin tzedek? It says ephas tzedek. It says already that you need to have an epha. That's, and now epha is a larger measurement. 72.
Also, half a sa.
Hin is a half a saw, correct? Yeah. So a saw would be 24 lug. So 24 lug. How many eggs? Is that the amount of? I think each lug is 6 eggs. So a saw would be 144 because 6 times 24, right? So each lug is 6 eggs. So a hin is what's 6 times 12? 70. So what's 6 times 12? 72. 72. Yeah, a hen would be 72 eggs, and the sow would be 144. Yeah, okay, anyway, half of 144. So, one second. If you have a correct aphah, then you have also a correct hin, because the larger measurement has to contain the lower measurement, right? So it's coming to tell you she'ein shalach tzedek. This is a play on the words. Hin is also means hein, which means yes. So it says your yes has to be just. V'lav shalach tzedek, and your no has to be just. That means you have to keep your word. Question on Rav. Rav said that a person doesn't have to keep his word if it was just a verbal agreement. Said I found a better deal. I'm sorry, I wanted to, but it was a nice try. Word together with money. When the money is given, but you didn't pull the merchandise, then we said, oh, that's a mishapara, that's a whole story. And then we also said that you'll see in a moment. We mentioned that a few days ago. Amar Abaya says, that is not telling you that you have to keep your word, even if you find a better deal. You know, this happens all the time. People, they have a discussion about working or something. I'm looking for a worker. So, okay, yeah, I'm going to do it. Like kids in the summer camps or something. And then they find that all the friends are going somewhere else. They come back and say, I'm so sorry. I didn't want to. My friends are going somewhere else. I want to go over there. They say, look, I'm not going to hold you against your will. You're going to be miserable. So, okay, fine. So the guy changed his plan, but there was no money exchange over there. It was just an agreement. And they just spoke about it. Yeah, they say blineder. They should blineder if it's involving a mitzvah. It's not involving a mitzvah. Then people say it anyway. Okay.
What about shidduchim?
People back out of shidduchim.
Yeah, sorry.
I don't know. I'm not familiar with that reason. I heard of other reasons. Okay. Usually it breaks because you didn't tell me you had a criminal record or something, something like that. Not because I found someone. Okay. So Abaya says that means that originally you even when you said that you were agreeing to it, you really never intended that as well. When the person said, "Yeah, I'll come work for you in the summer, and this and whatever, we'll make this sale." So he never really intended it anyway. That's where it becomes false. That's the problem. Meisvei, the Gemara's a question. Shimon says, "Af pi shamar talis kana dinazav, in dinazav kana talis." Even though we said that it's the commodity that acquires the currency, and the currency doesn't acquire the commodity. Although this is the halacha, but nevertheless, there is a curse put on someone that reneges from this from his word after the money's paid. And if there was no money paid, it says that the sages are not satisfied with him. Yeah, it doesn't say the chulu here, but that's the point. So we see that that he can't renege. The sages are unhappy with him. The Gemara says Tanaihi. You're quoting a source, but that source is actually only one opinion. There is another opinion. The Tanan was taught in the Mishnah. Oh yeah, I didn't go through all of that, the details. It says that the person that hey,
It's the third opinion for the hymn. As many eggs as she lays. You gotta know Yiddish.
So yeah, the curse contains in it the one that paid retribution to this generation, to that generation, to this sin, to that sin, is going to pay retribution from the person that changes from his word. Okay, so the Gemara says it's Tanai here. It's Machlekes Tanaim. The Tanana was taught in the Mishnah. Ma'aser Rabbi Yochanan ben Metzia Shamar Lebnai. This is Rabbi Yochanan ben Metzia. I wonder if that's like Metzia ben Harash's son. Anyway, he tells his son, Rabbi Yochanan ben Metzia tells his son, "Say Yisrael on a pylon. Go hire workers." He told them that you're going to be fed as well. When he comes back to his father, Amalai, his father says, "Why do you say that? B'ni, my son, even if you're going to feed them a meal that would be satisfactory for the days of like Shlomo in his time, over there they would have this. It says people would eat at his table and everything. Such a massive meal, you won't satisfy your obligation, because they're considered like princes and they have to be fed. You can't just feed them pizza for lunch every day of the week. They want champagne and caviar.
Whoa.
Summer's banquet, right? They need a huge meal. Before they start working, this is Yochanan ben Metzia telling the son quickly. Before they start working, go change your mind. I'm only feeding you bread made from beans. Pesach bread. So, and if you say that words, you're not allowed to change your mind. Why do you tell him? How could he have told him to go quickly and change the agreement? Can't change the agreement. Whereas Shani Hasam, the Pailam go file some Chadataya. But it's different. The workers themselves knew that they were just talking to the son. They weren't talking to the real owner that was involved in their payment. So my timer, what's the reason why made the yada? They surely knew that they were relying on his father to agree to it, and if he doesn't agree, so then it's no problem. They always have this like barrier between the real boss and this. Let me go back and see the thing. In the car places, they always have like the manager in the back, and he never does the negotiation. He just sits in the back with his coffee. The guys in the front, they say, "Oh well, I'll go back to the manager and talk about
That's
it. Okay. So, okay. The Gemara answers that he's relying on the father. So why do we have to make sure that we get out of this deal before the work starts, even after the work starts? Once they start working, then they're assuming that the person has already told his father the arrangements, and the father agreed to the arrangements. That's why they started working. So then it would already be too late. Now, this is Rabbi Yochanan that's arguing on Rav. It's not Rabbi Yochanan. No, Rabbi Yochanan that Rabbi Yochanan ben Masya, right? Yeah. Now we're not talking about Rabbi Yochanan ben Masya. Now we're talking about Rabbi Yochanan ben Nafcha, who's the one that argues on Rav, that he said that you can't change your mind about anything. One second, did Rabbi Yochanan really say that? But Rabbi Bar Bachana says in the name of Rabbi Yochanan, if someone tells his friend, I'm going to give you a gift. Yachalach is allowed to say, I changed my mind. Yeah. Sometimes the kids, the adults tell the kid, I'm going to give you something. The kid could remember it for like 30 years, and the adult doesn't remember anything. You said you were going to give me a car when you were done with it. Where is it? Okay, so the Gemara says you can change. If someone says I'm going to give you a gift, he can change his mind. It says Yachal, he's allowed to change his mind. Cheat, of course he can change his mind. Theoretically, he can change his mind. Not that he's allowed to, but that he's able to. Yachal means able. It means that basically the kid can't take him to court. Yeah, I said kid. The friend can't take him to court and say, you said you were going to give me a gift. Give me the gift. You can't do that. That's not going to uphold in court. So Ella mutalach, we mean much more than able. Not only is he able, but he's even allowed to. So that means that Rabbi Yochanan holds that a person is allowed to change his mind, and you told me before that a person is not. According to Rabbi Yochanan, a person is not allowed to change his mind. Rav Papa says depends what we're talking about. If it comes to a small gift, then the person is really expecting to get it. But if it would be a large gift, then he thinks the person is just exaggerating. It also makes sense. Because Rabbi Vo says in the name of Rabbi Yochanan, this is two people now. Rabbi Bar Bachana in the name of Rabbi Yochanan and Rabbi Vo in the name of Rabbi Yochanan. Yisrael Shamal ben Levi. Let's see, Yisrael says to a Levi, calls him a ben Levi. But the idea is that he's giving him meiser. Kur meiser yesh l'cha biyadi. There's a kur, large amount, 30 sa of meiser I have. In other words, he tells him, I'm giving to you a core of meiser. That is such a done deal that the Levi is already allowed to designate that for his own truma on the meiser that the Levi has to give truma, a tenth of a tenth back to a coin. So he's allowed to make it because it's as if he received it already. Now, if you say that he's not allowed to change his mind, then everything makes sense because he can't change his mind. So it's as if he received it. But if you say that you can change his mind, sometimes you get an email that the check, the stimulus check is on its way. So okay, it's on its way. Okay, I can start spending. So if you say that he can change their mind, am I Rashai? Then why was he allowed to already make it into Chumas Meiser? It turns out the Kachal Tvalim that the guy's changing his mind, and meanwhile you were eating the other Meiser. It turns out that you never took the Chumas Meiser. You never took the Meiser Mina Meiser. My answer is Achamayaskinan. That's a crazy answer. It says that we're not talking about the person only promised to give it. The reason why he was allowed to already make it into Chumas and Meiser is this like wild case where the person had given it to him already, and then he tells the person, "Can you please hold on to it for me?" That's why that's already considered a done deal. It was already given to him. Yeah, that's correct, but that's only if it's yours.
So here changes because of your.
No, Meiser is not consecrated. Truma is consecrated. Meiser is just a monetary value given. And there's Meiser Sheni, which is a different story. It's regular Meiser, which is not consecrated. So it's given to the Levi, but there's no consecration there. It's just given to him. And the Levi consecrates it as Trumas Meiser. But he can only consecrate it as Trumas Meiser if it's really his.
Is there like a safe for Meiser? All the different Meisers?
Probably the Rambam would be the best.
That's then.
That's right.
They only have one out of 10 volumes.
Oh, that's interesting.
Anybody have coffee this morning?
Yeah, what?
Someone asked me for Alabavich, he wants coffee for Pesach, but he only wants to get coffee if he can peel the beans himself. So he wants to get the very, very, very fresh beans. He's looking for someone that has beans that he can, straight off the tree, straight off the coffee plant. Anyway, you know anyone that's growing coffee?
Give him the
Did anyone
coffee.
have preference?
You have coffee. There's a wild coffee, but I don't think that's good.
Yeah, but it has to be dried. Usually they off the tree, then they dry it, then peel it. Stuff you could buy beans in the store. They peeled, unpeeled. Pesach.
And when it's on the tree, it has a thing on top of it that you buy in the store, even if it's not roasted, but it's the
Right, there's a pulp around the bean, around the pit. We eat the pit,
Yeah.
right? So if somebody's got to get the, your friend want the
Pulp.
skin up, wants only the
Yeah.
pulp.
the whole thing.
He wants the whole thing, so
Yeah.
he's got to go to a farm.
Yeah.
You
Okay, so we're talking about over here where he took from him, he took the miser from him and then he gave it back, and that's why he's allowed to do this. If so, if so, if that's the case, then we have to go further in this. This is a Brisa or Mishnah, I don't know. No, this is a statement from Rabbi Yochanan. Okay, let's see the end of the statement. Nasnil ben Levi acher. Let's say he gives it to another Ben Levi. That means he gave it to one Levi, and then he tells another Levi, "Oh, do I have meiser for you?" So then the first one only has complaints. He was able to take it away. So 1 second, if the case is where he really gave it to him, and then the guy says, "Can you do me a favor and hold on to it for me?" So what does it mean he only has complaints? Given the mashche, it's his already. Once he pulled it, but minus the gabe, it's not the complaints, it's his. He's gave away an item that belonged to him. Allah Shmamina must be bid'lay natla where he never took it. In Shmamina, we see that the person is not allowed to retract from his word, according to Rabbi Yochanan. Now, Rabbi Yochanan said that a person is allowed to retract if it would be a large gift. It's only when it's a small gift. So this is considered a small gift because the person is expecting it. Small gift the person is expecting.
I don't understand what's the reason, just because they're not going off their word.
Yeah. And why is this a small gift? Because it's, even though it's a core, which is a lot, but the truth is that it really doesn't belong to the Yisrael. It belongs to a Levi. The only right that the Yisrael has is which Levi he's going to give it to. So that's that choice. Do you want to give it here? Do you want to give it there? It's not a real gift. It is a gift, but it's a small gift, right? Someone has miser money that they give to tzedakah. So, and then they choose which tzedakah they're giving it to. So that is a small gift. It's not that the money was already designated out. It's already not his. The question is which pushka is going to put it in. Right? So, okay. Who gabra diav zuzi hashum shmei was a person that gave money to buy sesame seeds. And the sesame seeds became more expensive, very healthy. And Hajibu, so they said, okay, deal's off. Because we want to make more money. We're going to sell it to someone else. It's going to give us more money because now the price went up. They told him, we don't have any sesames. Go take your money. We ran out. Well, he didn't go to take the money. He was upset about this. And the money got stolen.
Wow.
Now he's really upset. So they come to Rava. They told you, take your money, and you didn't take it. Not only are you not a Shemer Sachar, you're not even a Shemer Chinim. Even if they were absolutely negligent over it, they could have left it out on the front lawn, and you still would have been responsible because they told you to come take it at a certain point. They say, okay, we're not watching it anymore. Amrulay Rabbanan Larava, but the Rabbanan said to Rava, Mishapara. 1 second. Money was given. These people are retracting from the agreement. They have to get the curse. Who says that they want the curse? Amrulu Achanami, you're right. Rava says that this would only apply if they were willing to accept the curse, Mishapara. And then they still want it out, then they would be out. Yeah. Okay. Then they could retract from it, and they don't have to watch the money. Amar Papi. Papi says, Amali Ravina. Ravina told me the story, and I got all the details over here. It's not exactly the way it was just said. The Didi Amali Omer Rabbanan was Ravina said that to me, this young rabbi or Rabbanan, this one sage told me, Rav Tava Shmei, his name is Rav Tavas, Ramde Rav Shmuel Bar Zutra Shmei. Some say it was Rav Shmuel Bar Zutra. That if he would never change from his word. And he said, even if they'd give him all the money in the world. He said that the story actually happened with me. The story with the sesame seeds. It was Friday afternoon, and I was sitting, probably learning Torah, being Maver Sedra. There was a person that came and he stood by the door. Amarli, he said to me, do you have any sesame seeds to sell? He wants to dip his challah in tchina. That's sesame seeds, right?
Yeah.
So it's not Pesach, it's Erev Shabbos. So he says, does he have any sesames? Amarli, he says, Loi. He says, I don't. Amarli, lehevi hanach zuzi b'pikadin gabach t'chashchali. He says, I have a problem. I'm not going to make it home. I need to leave my money somewhere. It's Erev Shabbos. I have to put it down. Amri they said to him, Amri I said to him, the house is open. The house, anywhere you put it down somewhere. Put it in his house, and it got stolen. Came to Rava. Amri Rava said, Kol ha besa. Call anyone that says that says the house is open before you. When you say the house is open, what you mean is put it wherever you want. I'm just not taking care of it. The house is open wherever you want. Hide it somewhere. So, okay. Now Amri Lay, they said to him, Amri Lay Rabbanan LeRava. Amri Lay, I said to him. I said to the person I was telling me, but in the story, it went differently. The rabbi said to Rava, what's happened to the end of the story? You switched the whole story over here. But here he bought sesame seeds, and then they didn't give it to him, and then the price went up, and they're trying to sell it to someone else. They said they have to accept the mishapara. Over here, he just put it down as if he's supposed to watch it. Rava says he didn't have to watch it because he said the house is open. So what happened to the Mishapara? That was the end of the story. He said to me, that part never happened. Someone added that in. That wasn't part of the story. That's a classic. Yeah.
Which is the added part?
The added part was that the student said to Rava, but the person has to accept on himself the curse if he's going to change. He said that never happened. Yeah. Shimon says, Kol shakesa biyada yada al yena. Whoever's holding on to the money, which in that case we were discussing, it was the seller, he has the upper hand. Tanya was taught in a brisa. Amar Reb Shimon says, when do we say that the person can't retract, or the person can retract? When can the seller retract? That's if he already has the money, even if he already has the money, and he still is holding on to the fruits. But if the seller has the money, it's already paid, and the lekeach already has his fruits, his merchandise, he can't retract because the money is in his hands. Now, the Gemara says in his hands, he doesn't have the money in his hands. The money is in the hands of the seller. The issue is because the value of his money is already in his hands, once he already took the merchandise. The Gemara says, Pshita, of course he can't retract. Once he takes the merchandise, he can't just return. This is not the, those stores where you keep returning stuff. Amar Rava says, have this wild ukimta, wild scenario. Talking about over here, remember we said that why do we say that that giving the money is not a full sale? Because the seller may say, "Oh, I'm so sorry, a fire broke out and everything that was yours got burnt." He's not going to go out of his way to save it. So we're talking that now that that whole discussion isn't relevant because the owner of the house is the purchaser. The seller of this grain is a renter by the purchaser, and he's living in the person's attic. So now, why did the sages institute that you have to pull the item because the seller may say, "I'm so sorry, your stuff got burnt up in my attic." But here, the seller owns the attic. He's probably living downstairs. And when the fire breaks out, if a fire would break out, unpreventable situations, then the seller, then the purchaser himself would have gone and saved it. When do we say that this is a concern if the guy's living somewhere else, but not if he's living in your house? Okay. And so therefore, we could have thought second, let me see if I can do this. See how this works. Okay. Still on here, yeah. Okay, sorry. So what was happening here is we were surprised that it needed to tell me that the money didn't that you needed to tell me that after the lekeach takes it, that he already can't retract. The truth is that in this case, you really should have acquired it even beforehand. Should have acquired even beforehand. That's the idea. Should have, because In other words, it's over here. It's only after he actually took it, but not before. Even though over here you don't have that logic. Okay. Who Gavra? There was a person. He gave money for. Chamra could mean a donkey or for wine.
It has wine.
You have wine? What do you have in yours? What do you have in the Koran? Wine or a donkey? Uh-huh. Okay. L'soif, he gave money to buy wine. At the end, Shama the Kabbalah Mitzvah, they joked. They said Chamra, you could go either way. But how do you know if it's wine or a donkey? They said it depends on what type of kick you get out of it.
You said that.
What is that?
Yeah, you heard that.
So at the end, he heard the Kabbalah Mitzvah debate Parzik Rufila, that the second in command was making a wedding. So and they're going to want the wine, and he already given money for it. They're going to come and take it. So I'm like, you know what? I don't need the wine anymore. Just give me back my money. That way, when they come and take the wine, they'll take it from you, not from me. Also, coming to Rav Chisda, came to Rav Chisda Amalei, said to him, the same way they said that you have to, he can retract. That not only can the seller retract, but the purchaser can also retract. Okay. Is there a possibility that we can learn tonight, even though there's a Fabrengen? And maybe conflict. So what should we do? Maybe we can learn before Mincha. Before Mincha. Can we learn at 6:45? 6:45. It's going to be hard. It's too hard. Okay, we'll figure it out. Anyway, we're up to the mission over here. This is the heavy sugya. I don't want to start it and then just leave it. We have to. We have to do at least a page to discuss this.
Rabbi, which mission? Which Amid you up to?
The story you said about
Where are you up to?
two guys that they were bringing, and they were